Okay. Even the sun goes down. Heroes eventually die. Horoscopes often lie, and sometimes why. Nothing is for show, nothing is for certain. Nothing lasts forever, but until they close the curtain. It's him and I, Aquemini.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Marcos from Aquemini Pressure Washing, and I'm back again for another video. In this video, I think this is video 7, 8, something like that. I lost count. There's been so many videos for this series and stuff like that. So this is the Death Trap Deck video series. So if you haven't seen the video, make sure you click on that little icon right up here for the beginning of the video, and you can watch the whole series. Okay, like I said, in this video, we're gonna do some deck staining. I got the handrails up and stuff. That's part of the series. I did the staircase. That's part of the series. I tore this deck down. That's part of the series. So we did a lot of stuff with this deck. So right now we're gonna go ahead and we already pressure washed this deck too, so that's part of the series. You can see that video too. We didn't really pressure wash this. We just cleaned a couple of the boards and stuff up here because this is new wood. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and get all my stuff off the deck, and I'm gonna start staining the floor. The handrails are already done because what I did, the handrails, I stained the wood before I put the balusters up. So that way I won't have to come back and try to get that. That'd have been a lot of work to do it that way. So staining it and staining it first was just a lot quicker. So I might have some areas where I need to touch up from when I was installing the deck. Installing the handrails. So like this need to be touched up. So I'm gonna touch that stuff up right there. And we're gonna paint this floor right here. Get everything down with 2 coats and stuff like that. And notice I did a cut in already from when I put the handrails up. So that is 2 coats right there. So that's the color it's gonna look like when we get everything stained. Outside skirts and the ledger and stuff like that has been also stained, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll just have to do this little area right here, the staircase, the handrails over here on the staircase, and the balusters. Since we don't have metal balusters here, we got to stain all this to match the deck and stuff like that. So we're gonna do the deck all the way down. See, I replaced a couple of boards on the floor right here because I had some spare wood. We'll come all the way down here, and if you notice, a lot of this paint is peeling and stuff. That's because I pressure washed this. I know I was gonna restain it, so I use a tip, a green tip on here to get everything off of it, to kind of get all the loose stuff off of it. So what I didn't get off, I'll probably just knock it off and stuff like that. So we're gonna stain all this right here. And like I said, the handrails, we got this piece over here we're gonna stain. And after that, we'll have everything done. We got this gate right here. I got another video where I'm gonna be rebuilding this gate and building another gate for the top of the stairs. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is go ahead and get everything stained, and as the stain is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and build the gate and stuff like that. And then we're gonna install the gate, and then at that time we should be finished with this deck and with the series and stuff. Let's go ahead and get the sprayer out, and we're gonna start spraying the deck down. Let me go ahead and get everything off the deck, and we're gonna get started. All right, guys, I got everything set up, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have my Graco Nova 390 sprayer that I'm going to be using it to do this deck, the stairs, and the handrails. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have the right tip. Right here I have an orange tip housing, and you usually use black tips from Graco in this. You can't use any other brand but Graco. If you get it off brand, you can probably get it to work with this, but I try to stay with Graco. The other thing I have this little pick. This pick right here, I use this to clean any kind of old stain and stuff out of here if I can. A pick is a good thing to have because, like I said, you can leave a lot of stain in there because you think you're cleaning everything, but it's not. The only issue that I have right now, I'm not too sure how the pump is. Usually what I do is clean it out with water, and before I put this tip in, we're going to try to prime the, we're gonna go ahead and try to prime the paint sprayer and make sure that it works. And I'm just gonna use water to prime it. So that's a bucket of water. This right here, this is where the feed, where the water comes in at. And this is the prime hose right here. So this hose will feed back into your bucket, or you can feed it into an external bucket and stuff like that. Sometimes this can get clogged. I'm looking at it, it's really clogged up. I don't want anything on my deck because I already swept the deck and stuff off. Let's make sure you do that first too. That's clean. That wasn't really necessary to do, but I always do it when I see that I can do it. All right, so now we're gonna turn the sprayer on. You have different settings right here. You have a dial right here. So you have a slow, you have low flow, which I'll explain, and then you have your high, which is what we're going to be using when we spray the floor. But right now we're going to prime it, so we're going to set it to the prime setting, and I will show you this, you know, probably in a little picture or something on the frame. And what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we have the prime bulb turned down. So now when we hit it, there we go. So now what we're doing, we're looking to see if the water is going to come through here. There we go. So that means that it's clear. So now if I turn it to the hose, now the water is going inside the hose. I'm gonna stop it right there because we don't need water in the hose because we already have it set for our stain. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our stain, we're gonna the feed line into the bucket of stain. But before I do that, I'm gonna store it up. So I have this, have my drill, and then I have this little stirring stick that I always use. All right, and turn your drill on low. You don't need to have it on high, because if you do, it's gonna splatter everywhere. Now, if you just got your paint, you don't have to do this. This been sitting up for like a week, so I want to make sure that everything is still. Want to make sure everything is still good and nothing has sunk to the bottom. When I just opened this, it had like some stain at the top that was, I guess, the color, the base to change the color. So now that's all mixed in. All right, we got that done. I'll put this to the side somewhere. We'll put it right here on the floor. If it drips, no problem, because I'm basically cover it with the stain. All right, next thing I got is my handle and my brush, because even though I'm spraying this, I back brush. So make sure it's locked in place, and basically I'm gonna try to use the water in that bucket to keep this wet, so that way I won't worry about having this drying on me and stuff like that. That's the worst thing, have your stain brush to dry on you and stuff like that, and it gets hard. So we put that to the side because that's clean. So now what I'm gonna do is turn the pump sprayer on, turn on prime, Kind of make sure all the water is out of the hose. There we go. So now I'm gonna take the feed line and put it inside the bucket. And I can hold this over the other bucket until the water's pushed out. Then I'm gonna go back over to the stain bucket after I start seeing stain come out. Let's see. There we go. So that's stain. Now I'm gonna turn my little feed arrow to the hose, facing the hose. Now I already know I have water in here, so I gotta clear the water out. So I'm just gonna shoot this toward the yard. That's clearing all the line of all the water. I usually leave water in here when I store my stuff. And the reason being, see that air? So that means the stain is getting ready to come out. That's the stain. You don't need a whole bunch to come out. All right, now we're gonna put a tip on. All right, I have my tip on. You have two ways you can have your tip facing. Right now, the arrow is pointing toward me, which means this is the way you clear your line, your tip and stuff like that, just in case it gets clogged. And sometimes when you leave it stored for a period of time, stain and stuff will get clogged in it and your tip will not work. So this is the way you clear it. So we're gonna match this. And as you see, it's still clogged. So let's turn it the other way. Let's see if it clears now. There we go. So that's working good. Let's try to clear it this way. There we go. So now we have stain coming out. All right, another thing that you need to realize, what you have different numbers on your tips. This tip is a 311, so that means 3 is how wide it's gonna be. So anytime you see the first number, you gotta multiply that by 2. So 3 means this tip is gonna shoot 6 inches wide. So now, only thing I'm gonna do is spray the boards. Now, if I was doing the Balusters stuff, which is around 2 inches, I'm gonna change the tip where this would be like a low number, like a 1, which means that'll be 2 inches wide. But I need it 6 inches wide because these boards are 6 inches wide. The second number is the volume that comes out. The higher the number is, I think the lowest number you can get after your first number is like a 0.6 or 0.8 or something like that. But the higher the second two numbers are, the more volume of the tip is gonna, the more volume of the stain is gonna come out of the tip. It's also inside the little housing. It comes, when you buy a tip, it comes with a little piece that goes inside the housing, so it'll feed the correct volume and stuff. I never change mine out. I leave mine at a low setting because I like mine. I like control of my stain and stuff when it comes out. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do a cut in right now. I'm gonna stain some areas where I'm thinking I'm gonna be walking later and stuff like that. That way I can give it time to dry, and then that way when I walk on it, I don't have to worry about it because it's kind of warm today, so it shouldn't take no more than, I say, like 10 minutes for it to dry. So let's just start back here in the corner. So the way I usually do this is I spray probably 3 to 4 boards. Make sure my hose is not tangled up. All right, there we go. You can go all the way across, or you don't really have to. You just want to keep the edge wet, so that way you won't see overlap. But this usually, when I stain, you don't see the overlap and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna paint probably the first 4 boards, and then I'm gonna take my brush and back brush it, and I'm gonna go to this first pole right here. All right, that's 4 boards. Now I just take the brush and I'm brushing it in. This way I get an even coat and I'm pushing the stain inside the wood. So if you have wood that's cracked and stuff like that, that's the reason a sprayer works better. I never roll floors. I have brush, but like I said, it's a lot faster just using this. So we're gonna go with 1 coat first. After the first coat dries and stuff like that, we'll go back with the second coat, and then that's gonna make it look real good. But right now we just wanna get stain on the floor so it can start to dry. All right, also I have to remember the little areas where I install the gates. We're gonna make sure we touch those up too. Don't have to do it now. I can do it on the second when I do the second coat. So right now that's 1 coat down, and we're just gonna keep going all the way down, or we can go this way. That way we can have one continuous thing. But I'm gonna show you. It's not gonna matter, because as long as you brush it in, it's gonna look good. So again, I'm gonna cut 4 boards. And one thing I didn't do, I didn't turn my sprayer up from prime to stain. So I need to do that now. So I got it at the lowest setting for this tip. And the reason you want to turn it up, that way you can make sure you get enough stain come out of your tip. So here we go. And that's my 4 boards. And I go back and I brush it in. So what I kind of do is feather the stain out toward the edge that I didn't paint. Because when you back brush, this will flop everywhere and stuff like that. So that's pretty good. All right, hit it again. We got 4 boards we got to do. And notice I'm not getting close to the handrails or anything like that, because I already did a cut in. If I need to do a cut in, I would basically use the brush before I even do this part right here. But since it's already have a cut in, I could just go ahead and start here. What you want to kind of do is you want to kind of get started with your sprayer gun a little bit before you start spraying, so it won't pile up. If you miss spots, you can do that. That's the good part about using the sprayer. And with that brush, and when I'm doing this time, I'm pushing it back toward the center, since this is already have a cut in already, so I just push it back toward the center. All right, so if you see, I got that part done. So now what I normally do is just move over for 4 boards, and I'm going back this way now. And what you usually do, you can stop halfway so you know what 4 boards you brush and stuff like that. If you do all the way down, you can probably lose track of what boards you paint. That's the 4 boards. So now I know I have 4 boards done. I just brush it in. All right, I can already see that over there is starting to dry. If it's not drying, that's because you probably put a heavy amount of stain down and you don't need on the first coat. You want to get it just to get it coverage and stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I am gonna finish that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stain a couple more right here by the steps, since I'm gonna be going down the steps and stuff like that. That way it gives this a little time to dry. You don't want to paint yourself in the corner. So I'm gonna brush this in. Now that's going to have time to dry while I finish the rest of the deck. The reason I want to go ahead and get this done is because I still got to do the handrails and the spindles on the stairs. And since I got to do that, I probably got to sit down right here, so I don't want to have stain on me, and this will give it time to dry. Said, it's so warm today, it's starting to dry, that's starting to dry. Anything that's still looks wet or something, that's because it's probably heavy with stain. You probably have too much in that area. So I just usually try to brush that in and make sure that it's even. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and finish this over here. Again, I'm working with 4 boards. All right, that's my 4 boards. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hit this. Now remember, I had old wood and new wood right here. So anytime you have something like that, you definitely want to use a solid color stain. That way it's gonna cover everything, and everything's gonna look exactly the same. Never use a transparent color on wood that's new and old. Even though you have old wood and it hasn't been stained, if you clean it, it's not going to look like the new wood. Okay. But this is just me. I always use, when I stain, I always do 4 boards, maybe 5, maybe 6. You can do it how many you want. It depends on your reach, and also depend on the pole. I got a short pole. Usually I have a longer pole and I can do more than 4 boards, but I'm just going by what I need and stuff. Let's put this top over this so the sun won't bake it, because I tell you one thing, you leave the top off, you'll stain. The sun will dry the top part of it. Okay, that looks good. Make sure I got enough space to do 4 boards. All right, we're just gonna do these few right here. Alright guys, sorry about that. Of course, the battery didn't go there this time. This time the camera overheated because of the sun and me trying to charge it in the sun. But everything I was doing was pretty much repeat and stuff like that. So as you can see, I got the first coat on the floor. I think it looks good. So it's so hot, it's dry to the touch, as you can see. So one thing about working in sun, it will dry quick. So keep that in mind. I try to keep my stain covered so that way it won't dry out too fast. But now we got to go to the handrails. So I'm gonna work on the spindles first on the inside, and then paint the top of the handrails and the side right here with the brush, and then same thing on here. And then after I do that, I will start staining the stairs going down. While the stairs are drying and stuff like that, because usually what I do is I paint the floor first and then go back and while the floor is drying and stuff like that, I paint the outside part of the rails, and then come back on the inside and paint the inside the rails, and then paint the floor again with the second coat. Or you can paint, always paint the floor first, and then you can paint the outside rails while the inside of the rails first, secondly. But like I said, you still got to give it time to dry and stuff like that. So that's the reason I kind of do it that way. If I want to do the rails first, what I would do, I'll paint the rails first on the inside, and after I do that, I paint the floor. And then as I'm doing the outside rails, the floor is drying, but I probably get a little stain on it from when I'm spraying the rails and stuff like that on the outside, but it still will pretty much be dry enough for me to walk back on it. It might be a little sticky, but only thing I want to do is make sure that I don't paint myself in a corner. So what I probably end up doing is, like I said, I'm gonna just paint the inside first, the stairs, and then paint the outside and give it a little drying time, and I come back and do the floor up here, and I'm gonna touch up the handrails up here, and hopefully that should give enough time for me to get some other things done. All right, so let's go ahead and start on the handrails and the balusters. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shoot at an angle. I'm gonna probably brush these first couple right here, or the first 3, and after I brush the first 3, I'm gonna go back and spray the rest. But what I'm gonna do when I spray, I'm gonna make sure that I'm holding something behind it so I don't get anything on the house. So make sure that you hold something behind the rails when you're spraying, because when you spray toward the house, you're gonna get it on the house. I don't care if you try to be careful, it's gonna get on the house. So make sure that you put something there to stop it from getting on the house. All right, I'm gonna try to set y'all up, hopefully in a spot where the camera won't cut off, and you should be able to see the first couple. You should be able to see the first couple of rails and stuff that I do, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this thing. You can see how I'm hitting right at the corners. That's how you want to do it. You want to hit at the corner. That way you can get this side and you can get that side. Now here's the good part. That's one coat. Now let's get a second coat on this side right here by coming on this side. So there's two coats. Get the back side of this. So just in case you're wondering, the wind is blowing away from the house right now. So I can get away with spraying this without putting anything up. This. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is bat brush. Get my brush out of the water. And shake it out. All right, let's go back and brush the normally I won't brush this in, but I'm just doing this to help. Just doing this to stop the runs and get good coverage. This side now. I got that. So how it look, it should look like this when it gets dry. So that's pretty good coverage. Got a couple more spots. Now I need to go on the inside and spray the inside of the rails and stuff. All right, here we go. All right, let's go down. Get this area right here first. Alright, so going down, this makes the 2 coats. Alright, that's the second coat. Get the handrail. I'm putting it on heavy because I'm gonna take the brush and brush it in. So now we can brush this in. Got that brushed in. See, that's all covered. So we got through with this side. We're gonna jump on the other side, get that finished, and then we're gonna start on the floor again. Okay, guys. I got the deck finished staining. I gotta go back and put a second coat, but it's getting dark, so I want to go ahead and do this final reveal so I can finish this video out. So this is what it looks like from the outside compared to what it was. So like I said, I'm going back to put a second coat on the floor, so you don't need to see that. It's just basically me staining the floor again, like I showed you. And like I said, it's getting dark. So I'm walking on this, and it's been I say about 30 minutes right here, but up here on the top, it's been a few hours. I say at least 3, so it's dry to walk on, but you have to consider that it can probably get stain and stuff on your feet, and you can track it in your house. So if I was you, just stay off it for 24 hours before you walk in the house. And if you have any furniture, you want to wait at least 3 days before you put furniture on. So I got everything done. Let's see how much stain I got left. That's about 1.5 gallons or so. So we're going to get the 1.5 gallons, and we're going to go ahead and put the second coat on the floor. I got a couple of spots on the handrails that I'm going to touch up first. So after I touch up those, we're going to go ahead and spray the rest of the floor, and then that'll be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do a time lapse so you can see what I'm doing, and then that way, if I can get done before it gets dark, which I think I will, you'll see exactly what I'm doing. Again, this is the finished product. All the handrails, all the balusters are painted. So that's pretty good. Like I said, we got to put a second coat on the floor right here, but it should go pretty quickly. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it for this video. As you can see, it's getting dark. Well, I got more videos coming up in this series and stuff like that, so don't fret. You will see the finished product of this deck. Then you can go back and look at everything that you didn't see. Okay everybody, I hope that you found this video entertaining. If not, I hope that you learned something from it. If you didn't, go back and look at the video because you skipped over the good parts. Once again, if you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing to the channel. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know when my next video comes out. This is Marcos from Equipment Eye Pressure Washing, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
It's him and I, Equipment Eye.